Tonight, protests break out. Kenosha becomes a sea of demonstrators as no criminal charges will be filed against the officer who shot Jacob Blake. And return to learn. Duluth students are preparing to get back in the classroom. A look at the plans in place. Plus, changing an old law. Breweries in Minnesota want decades-old legislation changed. Why they say it's hurting their operations.
From CBS3 Duluth, this is the CBS3 News at 10.
Good evening, I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us. Happening right now, protests in Wisconsin over a major decision regarding an officer-involved shooting. Prosecutors in Kenosha, Wisconsin have decided not to charge police officer Rustin Shesky in connection with the shooting of Jacob Blake back in August. Cell phone video captured Shesky shooting Blake 7 times in the back as he leaned into his minivan following a domestic dispute. The prosecutor says Shesky acted in self-defense because Blake was armed with a knife as well as resisting arrest. Blake's family is outraged at the decision.
It's 2021 and we're not going for it. We're going to unite our people from coast to coast until we get justice.
The U.S. Justice Department said the civil rights investigation into the shooting is still ongoing. Closer to home, Duluth elementary schools are preparing to return to in-person learning at the end of the month. The Duluth School Board met today to provide an update on their planning. CBS3's Kendall Jarbo explains how schools will welcome back kids to the classroom and what parents need to know.
After weeks of distance learning, Duluth elementary schools are gearing up to offer in-person instruction once again.
We do want to make sure that we're thoughtful around that and thoughtful around the needs of our students and what our families and students are requesting.
Starting January 25th, pre-K through 2nd grade can return to the classroom. Grades 3 through 5 can begin on February 8th. Duluth schools ordered COVID-19 saliva testing kits, optional for staff.
We have always wanted to make sure that we're erring on the side of caution, and I think that is important.
Aligning their plans with Minnesota health guidelines, Duluth schools will pause classes for 3 days at the end of the month to allow for more planning.
I believe we need to listen to the health professionals, and if the health professionals say that it's unsafe, then I'm going to heed that.
Plans can change based on new guidance as Duluth schools try to strike the balance between quality learning and safety.
To transition to in-person learning, Duluth schools are asking families to indicate what they plan to do. We have a link to the model selection form on our website, cbs3duluth.com. For now, middle and high schools will remain with distance learning. All right, let's check in on the weather. Dave, could be some little fog out there for some folks tonight.
Yeah, it looks like that could start building in after midnight.
Okay.
Same time that clouds aloft are building in, so it's the double whammy as far as visibility goes. Tomorrow morning it may be a little bit iffy. And on that note then, National Weather Service has issued a dense fog advisory for most of our area through 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Keep in mind the morning commute may be foggy, so watch out for that. But strangely enough, it may not be so bad right along the North Shore. It's inland areas of Minnesota and most of northern Wisconsin that's going to be facing this deal. Upper Peninsula still seems to be off the hook as far as the dense fog goes. Well, we pull out and take a look at clouds building into the area as lower pressure systems from the west come our way, but they're coming slowly and weak high pressures trying to block that progression. So we'll have foggy and overcast and cloudy conditions for Wednesday, but it should be dry. We'll start at 18, top out around 28, still warmer than normal. With the 7-day forecast, we'll try to figure out if any cool downs are coming, at least this week.
Okay, thanks, Dave. Tuesday marked the start of the Minnesota legislative session. State senators and representatives from both parties say step 1 for the year is getting the budget set. District 5 State Senator Justin Eichhorn, a Republican representing the Grand Rapids and Bemidji areas, says in the summer they were told to expect a budget deficit, but he says they'll know more in February. He does expect some disagreements over where budgeting should be spent. Eichhorn says his goals this session are continuing to provide more support for businesses and people impacted by COVID-19.
The state needs to step up and help some of those small businesses they shut down. So that's one thing that I would like to see. We did have a package before, but I think there's probably more relief that's needed.
Meanwhile, House Speaker Melissa Hortman, a DFLer representing a Twin Cities suburb, says focusing on helping those impacted by the pandemic is a main concern. She also hopes to better meet the needs of students all across the state.
We know we have some of the worst opportunity gaps in the United States of America, and we are very committed to doing something about that. You cannot do that entirely free.
One topic of conversation state legislators will be looking at is the future of Governor Tim Walz's emergency powers. which allow him to issue special rulings during the pandemic. Also during this session, brewery owners want changes made to a law they say has haunted them before and during the pandemic. According to the law, breweries producing 20,000 or more barrels of beer per year cannot sell growlers. CBS 3's John Cardinelli heard from 2 local breweries calling for change.
On September 30th, 2019, Castle Danger Brewery sold its very last growler.
We lost 3 taproom employees, full-time employees that we didn't replace. With the 30% drop in revenues, we didn't have the work for them.
Then the pandemic hit.
We have not been able to have our taproom open.
Now take away growler sales, and Castle Danger is really hurting.
We have absolutely no to-go sales, so we have no taproom business. So all of our taproom employees were furloughed. They're still furloughed right now because the taproom's not open.
And over at Bent Paddle,
30%, 35% of our total taproom sales is beer to go.
Pep & Young says they've almost reached the point where growlers will become no more.
We are getting closer and closer to that cap, and we know that that is going to mean, at the moment, an immediate stop of beer to go from our taproom, which would be a huge detriment to the business.
But a new alliance has been formed called the Alliance of Minnesota Craft Breweries. They are calling for change to the growler cap.
We've been working on it for several years. Legislators are more and more aware of it every year, and we are using the 6 breweries here to really focus in on why this should be changed and why it is stifling growth within Minnesota craft beer.
And breweries who are not yet affected agree it's time for a change.
There shouldn't be a penalization for success when it comes to what we're trying to do here, and I think that, you know, if they found success at the Capitol, that's success for everybody in our industry, and so I'm wishing them the best.
As for why that law exists, it's meant to protect liquor stores. When consumers are getting their beer via growlers at a brewery, there are fears that retailers could take a big hit. Another twist in Ely tonight after the man elected to be the city's mayor turned down the job. In November, Eric Urbis defeated incumbent Mayor Chuck Novak by 124 votes. But Urbis had dropped out of the race months earlier, citing health issues. Tonight, the Ely City Council decided Novak will continue as interim mayor until the city can hold a special election. That's all according to the Ely Echo. No word on when the special election will be held. As the new year gets underway, CBS 3's Kristen Vaki is looking ahead to some mining projects you should keep your eyes on this year.
After the pandemic set the mining industry back and left people out of work, the outlook for 2020 took a turn for the worse. But with the industry rebounding, things are looking up for 2021. Here are some projects we'll be watching in the new year. We'll start with PolyMet. 2 years ago, the Minnesota DNR placed PolyMet's permit to mine on public notice, meaning people could weigh in. Since then, the copper and nickel mining project has received all permits necessary, but has yet to begin construction. That's because as recently as October of 2020, the project was held up in court. Now to Mesabi Metallics, a project that continues to cause frustration for locals, has now missed deadlines and payments for the plant they said would be built in Nashwauk. We heard from Nashwauk's mayor last year, who said the company isn't paying the city the taxes it's owed, putting a strain on the town and its residents. If deadlines continue to be missed, the state of Minnesota could revoke Mesabi Metallics' mineral leases. With its mine plan of operation now in the hands of environmental agencies, Twin Metals Minnesota is officially in the regulatory process. A timeline is difficult to foresee as the project is the first of its kind in Minnesota. Twin Metals is proposing to mine precious metals underground. They continue to get pushback from environmental groups who argue the risk isn't worth it. As part of the regulatory process, the public will get to weigh in on the project and whether they want it to happen. Cleveland Cliffs. 2020 turned into a big year for the Ohio-based company. Arguably, the biggest move was the purchase of ArcelorMittal USA, a deal that closed shortly before the end of 2020. This puts Cliffs at the forefront of the local iron mining industry, now operating the majority of mines on the Iron Range. Hibbing taconite will be a focus for many as the lifespan of the mine continues to shorten. Union members we spoke with said they're confident in Cliffs taking over. If 2021 is anything like 2020, it could be hard to predict. For now, industry experts are focused on the fact that things are looking up and that most people are back to work. Make sure to stick with us throughout the year as we continue to keep our eye on mining.
Sticking with industry, even with construction well underway, Enbridge's Line 3 oil pipeline replacement was the focus of a protest today in Superior. About 40 people gathered in front of the Douglas County Government Center this afternoon calling for Enbridge to stop construction of its pipeline that runs from Alberta to Superior. The group worries about impacts to the environment, including waterways on native lands.
And we just want to draw awareness that this is an ongoing struggle. We haven't stopped, and we're not going to stop until we stop Line 3.
Enbridge responded to the protest with a statement saying in part, while the company recognizes the right to demonstrate peacefully, replacing this 60-year-old pipeline with thicker steel and better technology will better protect the environment and water. Still to come on Live Local CBS 3, with the new year, you may be looking to better yourself. A new trend is popping up that may help you do just that.
32 below is our record low from 1912. This week, we're not going to get anywhere near that cold. We'll stay above zero for the lows and the highs. And snow chances, not too many of those coming down the pike. There might be one. We'll talk about it coming up after our break.
Live, local, CBS 3 News at 10 with Kristen Vaki, Anthony Matt, Kelly Hinson, and weather with meteorologist Dave Anderson on Live, local, CBS 3. When severe weather hits, tune to CBS 3 for up-to-date coverage morning and night.
The Cetus Fogger disinfectant machine sanitizes and restricts the growth of bacteria and viruses. Our disinfectant machines are needed wherever infection can be spread, such as hospitals, public spaces, schools, and nursing homes. The R model is stationary, ideal for the home, office, and classroom, while the C model is movable and ideal for commercial and industrial settings. Our disinfectant machine also controls mold, pests, and odors, ideal for the food and agriculture industries. Visit www.cetusonline.com, that is CETUSonline.com.
There are a lot of choices when it comes to automotive care, but how can you find someone you trust? At East End Auto, our customers have trusted us for the past 20 years to provide them with the best auto care. As your area's full-service repair shop, with the most modern equipment available to us, and backed by a 2-year, 24,000-mile nationwide warranty, honesty is what our customer relationships are built upon.
Locally family-owned and operated. Stop out to see why East End Auto is the community's trusted auto repair home.
Always ready, always there. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Mining. It's a part of Minnesota's history that affects everyone in the Northland still to this day. From environmental issues to economics and so much more. Join me, Kristen Vaki, every Tuesday for Eye on Mining. A fair and unbiased report that answers the tough questions surrounding the world of mining.
Eye on Mining with Kristen Vaki. Tuesdays at 10 only on Live Local CBS 3. Brought to you by Iron Mining Association. For coverage that matters most to you, tune to CBS 3. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Well, temperatures today came up warmer than normal. We had a top temp of 30 in Orr and in Hibbing, 33 towards Proctor and eyeing up Hayward, 32 there. Also 32 for our friends in Watersmeet. All these numbers warmer than normal, a trend that began a few days ago and likely will last for the rest of the week ahead. No Arctic outbreaks coming our way this week, and not much snow either. We have a chance coming around perhaps on Saturday, and that's about it for the week ahead. We'll have clouds, but not much snow. Live look at two harbors here. No, actually, that's Virginia. Up towards Virginia by Uptown Virginia there, the old Thunderbird Mall. Looks like pretty smooth sailing here tonight, but clouds are creeping in aloft, and at the surface, fog is threatening to build for most of our towns by tomorrow morning. So most of us, except for Gibbet County, facing a fog advisory, a dense fog advisory, in fact, until 9 o'clock tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning's commute will require us to drive cautiously. Current conditions at the airport in Duluth, it's 22 with an east wind at 7 miles per hour, and our air pressure still on the higher side at 30.27 inches of mercury. But we do have a pair of lows coming our way from the west, trying to take those barometer readings down, trying to raise up the clouds. But the resistance from a high is going to keep that snow at bay, like I've been saying, perhaps until Saturday. Current temps, mid to upper 20s in the upper peninsula. Looks like it's down to 11 in Hayward right now and 12 outside of Superior towards the Bong Airport, but still in the lower 20s towards La Pointe and Ashland, dropping towards 14 for Moose Lake, but still 19 in Cloquet, 10 for Silver Bay, 23 Ely, 20 Hibbing, and 16 International Falls. So temperatures all over the board here. And by tomorrow morning, they should become a little more even into the teens inland and around 20 right by Lake Superior. All right, Doppler map for the area shows higher pressure earlier today brought a sunny day and a beautiful blue sky. But that clear sky is fading away and pushing towards the east as clouds are advancing in from the west, associated with two weak troughs of lower pressure connected by an occluded front. They're going to keep us cloudy for the next couple of days, but this high pressure system centered to the south is going to keep the progress of the precip well, away from our area. We are going to have the clouds, yes, but getting snow chances may be something we don't even get a hope for until about Saturday or so, and that's only a 30% chance for some very light snow. Then it's back towards sunny and reasonably mild. Tonight, reasonably mild, but no sunshine in Minnesota. Low temps, we'll say 13 inland to 20 by the lake. Cloudy and foggy. So, cloudy and foggy for Wisconsin as well. Cloudy for the upper peninsula. Low temps there, 15 to 18. Overcast day tomorrow, 29 to 32 for Wisconsin and the UP, and 27 to 30 for Minnesota. Overcast sky covers everybody and could continue to cover everybody through Friday. And then finally by Saturday from the cloudy sky, we get that slight chance for the light snow. Then, Tony, by Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, we'll break up a little bit. We'll get some partial sunshine, but we'll be warmer than normal still. High temps in the 20s, low temps in the teens. Our high temps this time of year should be upper teens at best.
All right, thanks, Dave. For most, the new year means new resolutions and a new beginning. That's the idea behind Dry January, when people give up alcohol for the month. CBS 3's Peter Kevikauskas introduces us to the community organizer of Sober Duluth, and he shares tips on how to make it a successful month and avoid social pressures.
For B. Golding, alcoholism is personal.
I got a DUI almost 2 years ago now, and I was living in Wyoming at the time, and I had a few times throughout my life tried to quit drinking, had like stretches like 7 months here and there, and when I woke up in jail, I decided that was the final time, and I haven't touched a drink since.
Now Golding is helping others do the same through a group called Sober Duluth. He says whether you're trying to start a new lifestyle or just trying to start the new year healthier and happier, the results are immeasurable.
I opened a business with the money that I saved from quitting drinking, and past that, my life is just way more manageable.
Golding knows the pressure to drink in social settings can be tough. If you're going out, Sober Duluth advises people to look for non-alcoholic options, which have become popular in local breweries or bars. You can also find recipes for fun mocktails online. Aligning yourself with a supportive community whenever in a group, online or with close family, can also help. But Golding's advice for those just looking to get started, know you're not in this alone, and the journey can be a tough one.
My message would be, like I said, just start as soon as you can, and if you have a slip-up, don't beat yourself up about it.
If you're looking for help to get started, we've included contact information for Sober Duluth on our website, cbs3duluth.com. Still to come, in Georgia, both Senate seats are still up for grabs, along with control for the United States Senate. Details from the Peach State coming up next.
CBS3 live cams are brought to you by Kohler Chevrolet Buick GMC Cadillac. You're not just getting a car, you're getting Kohler.
Mariah Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. Plus, subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
When facing a major healthcare decision, it's wise to seek a second opinion from a team of established experts. Financial decisions deserve the same level of care and expertise. At MPPL Financial, we develop your plan by assembling a personalized team that includes experts in multiple disciplines. So the result is a coordinated care plan that covers all areas of your financial life. Your outcome depends on the quality of care you receive. Call today to set up your free second opinion consultation or visit MPPLfinancial.com.
At Super One Foods, we're dedicated to delivering the best products to your family's table. Our fresh, never frozen, and hand-breaded deli chicken is made every day with the best ingredients, including our signature breading. While you visit, choose from dozens of delicious sides to accompany your meal. And don't forget about our amazing selection in our bakery. We offer fresh baked breads, rolls, and desserts fit for any occasion. You'll find quality, convenience, and craftsmanship at Super One Foods, every day delivering low prices and better choices.
At Miners National Bank of Evelyn, we know it takes knowledge, dedication, and teamwork to be the home loan experts. With over 115 years and 4 family generations, we have proven we have the experience to be the best in the business. For your first or next home loan, call the experts you can trust at Miners National Bank. Their teamwork is unmatched, and they will bump out any rough spots along the way. Make your house a home with Miners National Bank.
Equal housing lender, member FDIC.
Everything that happens on a day-to-day basis in terms of news, no matter what happens in news, weather is always constant, weather is always changing as well. So it's still an important role as the meteorologist to kind of still stay grounded and to kind of just know that role and what to take and kind of just make sure you're delivering what's the most important for your viewers. But then also I like to touch base on the national things. All of those news stories also tie in with weather stories because they do go kind of hand in hand.
Watch Jenna and Caitlin in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m.
On Duluth Casino welcomes you back. COVID safety protocols are in place.
Welcome to the Kelly Clarkson Show! This show is about connection. Not even 2020 and socially distancing ourselves are going to get in the way of that.
Are we 6 feet apart?
It feels good.
When severe weather hits, tune to CBS3 for up-to-date coverage morning and night.
The polls have closed and the votes are now being counted in the runoff elections in Georgia. Both of the state's Senate seats are up for grabs, and with them, so is control of the U.S. Senate. Republican David Perdue and Kelly Loeffler face Democrats Jon Ossoff and Raphael Warnock. None got 50% of the votes in November, triggering this automatic runoff under Georgia law. More than 3 million Georgians voted early, shattering the state's record for total turnout in a runoff. These races, which determine which party controls the U.S. Senate, the GOP needs to win one to maintain its majority. It could be days before a winner is declared, but at last check, Perdue was leading Ossoff by just 30,000 votes, and Warnock was leading Loeffler by about 1 percentage point, with 95% of precincts reporting for both. Still ahead in sports, hockey is back for Superior High School. Highlights are coming up next.
Eye on Mining is brought to you by Iron Mining Association, Range Regional Airport, and Miners National Bank of Evelyn.
Welcome to the Kelly Clarkson Show!
I can't even hug her. I'm touching people. I'm touching you. I'm touching you.
This show is about connection. And not even 2020 and socially distancing ourselves if they're going to get in the way of that.
Are we 6 feet apart?
Let's just check it out.
The major key is to make sure they watch the Kelly Clarkson Show.
Everything that happens on a day-to-day basis in terms of news, no matter what happens in news, weather is always constant, weather is always changing as well. So it's still an important role as the meteorologist to kind of still stay grounded and to kind of just know that role and what to take and kind of just make sure you're delivering what's the most important for your viewers. But then also I like to touch base on the national things. All of those news stories also tie in with weather stories because they do go kind of hand in hand.
Watch Jenna and Caitlin in the morning at 5 and 6 a.m.
Mining. It's a part of Minnesota's history that affects everyone in the Northlands still to this day. From environmental issues to economics and so much more. Join me, Kristen Baki, every Tuesday for Eye on Mining, a fair and unbiased report that answers the tough questions surrounding the world of mining.
Eye on Mining with Kristen Baki. Tuesdays at 10 only on live local CBS3. Brought to you by Iron Mining Association.
Haberman here from Discover Wisconsin. Join me and the rest of the crew every week on this station for all things Wisconsin. Continue the adventure on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and discoverwisconsin.com. Plus, subscribe to the Cabin Podcast, available wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts.
My part-time service in the Army National Guard makes it possible for me to be more for the community I call home. I'm a better neighbor because my service has taught me to understand how important it is to be a team player. My training helps me at work when I lead by example. My service in the Army National Guard allows me to keep my community and those I care about safe from threats. Learn more about how you too can live and serve part-time close to home by visiting NationalGuard.com.
Now, CBS3 Sports with Kelly Hinson.
Well, it was a big day over in Superior. For the first time in nearly 90 days, live competitive high school sports were back on. The Spartans boys hockey team had a tough task ahead of them, hosting an Eau Claire North team that already had 6 games under their belt. Could be a big test as they finally open up the winter sports season. A lot of excitement from Jason Kalin's group today. How's this for a start? Less than a minute in, a pinballing puck in front, and there's Ethan Welch. The senior hangs their first tally of 2021, but North immediately has an answer. Brayton Thillman battles his way through a pair of defenders at the line and makes it count, even at 1 just a few minutes in. And Eau Claire picked it up after that. On the power play, Gabe Bestel puts it in front. Cleanup duty goes to Noah Bestel. It's 2-1 after 1. The Huskies add 2 more in the second and 3 more in the third. They win 7-1. Eau Claire North over Superior in their opener. The Spartan girls basketball team got back to it today as well with a 1-point win over South Shore, while Northwestern picked up a bounce-back W. They've won 8 out of their last 9. 10 months ago, the Duluth Marshall girls basketball team made it to the state tournament for the first time in 20 years, but COVID-19 brought their quest for a championship to an abrupt halt. Now the Hilltoppers are back on the court with revenge on their minds. CBS3's Ryan Campos spoke with players and coaches about how they're using that experience as fuel for their upcoming season.
As the winter sports season gets underway, redemption will be on the minds of the Duluth Marshall girls basketball team.
That's where we want to be. You know, we want to go out there and prove to everybody, you know, it really wasn't like a fluke. It wasn't like a one-time thing.
Showing the state it wasn't a fluke and that the Hilltoppers should be on the eyes of all in girls basketball.
We kind of want to put that fear in people's heart for years to come that, you know, if you want to get to state, you're going to have to beat, you know, Marshall girls basketball.
And following state guidelines being relaxed, it's once again time for the Hilltoppers to lace up the sneakers.
Since the day it got canceled at the state tournament, I know we've all been wanting to get back together and just like be able to
play the sport that we all love.
A shortened season that will see players wearing masks and no spectators at practice, including us sports reporters.
It is a little bit harder, but we're getting used to it, and we rather play with masks than not play at all, so it's kind of just something that comes with it.
And despite losing Grace Kirk to graduation, Marshall will be a force to be reckoned with.
Having Gianna, Merle, Daisha, Layla, the four that's really been playing with me like the last 2 years helps too, because they can help these young girls get used to me, get used to my coaching style.
And they know all too well after last year that this year they can't take anything for granted.
It's just going to be super exciting for the whole team, coach, even just probably the whole community. It's kind of exciting for sports to be able to get going again in a safe manner.
The team opens up their season next Thursday when they travel to rival Duluth Denfeld at 7 p.m. Oh, say can you see World Juniors gold medal game between USA and Canada in Edmonton. Canada looking stronger in the early moments. Dylan Cousins takes the shot from the right circle, but Spencer Knight is there to make the save and cover up for the red, white, and blue. USA on the board first, controlling in the Canada zone. Drew Hullison lets the shot go from the right point, and Alex Turco heads to the slot and scores on the tip. It's 1-0 USA. The Americans on the board 28 seconds again into the second period. Heads up play. Trevor Zegras picks up puck behind the net and stuffs it in the short side. Canada goaltender Devin Levick cannot get to it. USA leads 2-0 at last check in the third period. And Timberwolves down in Denver taking on the Nuggets for the second time this season. We'll pick it up in the second quarter. T-Wolves playing from behind. Anthony Edwards flies in for the big jam. Now it cuts the lead to 14. The Nuggets call a timeout, but check this out. Edwards' head hits the board in that one. 49-35 Nuggets at this point. Still in the second, Juancho Hernan-Gomez having likely the best game of his NBA career. He is the far corner for another three. He played the first 4 years of his career with Denver, and despite having a career average of 5 points a game, he is scorching his former team. He had 21 points in the first half. At last check, Timberwolves were trailing by 5, coming down to the final seconds of the fourth quarter. That is going to do it for sports tonight. We'll be right back after the break.
Change the future of medicine from the convenience of home. Join the All of Us research program to help improve health research and speed up medical breakthroughs. Visit essentialhealth.org/allofus to learn more.
I'd gotten to the point to where I hurt every night, and it hurt a lot. After hearing about disability specialists, I made a call to them. They told me what documentation that I needed to prove my disability. Since I have became disabled and filed for disability, the quality of life is really improved. They tell you what they need you to do, and they make it the easiest for you to do it.
Skilled trade workers are the backbone of every community, and also the Army National Guard. Soldiers get paid training to keep the power flowing, engines running, and supplies moving. Army National Guard soldiers are learning skills that can set them up for success with companies looking to hire the best.
The Army National Guard basically built my resume for me.
Find out how you can learn a trade and serve part-time for your community and country by visiting nationalguard.com.
Mining. It's a part of Minnesota's history that affects everyone in the Northland still to this day. From environmental issues to economics and so much more. Join me, Kristen Bakke, every Tuesday for Eye on Mining, a fair and unbiased report that answers the tough questions surrounding the world of mining.
Eye on Mining with Kristen Bakke. Tuesdays at 10 only on live local CBS3. Brought to you by Iron Mining Association.
Heart attacks and strokes happen, even in the midst of COVID-19, and at least one will occur while you're watching this. Heart attacks and strokes are medical emergencies. If you experience symptoms of a heart attack or stroke, do not delay seeking care. Call 911 immediately. hospitals are prepared and can safely treat you. Visit cdc.gov/coronavirus to learn more.
Men's wardrobe provided by Mainstream Fashions for Men, celebrating 30 years in business in 2021 with 30% off store-wide, downtown Duluth.
All right, let's get one last look at the weather. Dave, is that fog rolling in yet?
Well, out our window here, our highly calibrated weather window, again, as George Kessler used to call it, not seeing it on the streets of Duluth yet, but after midnight it could happen around most of the area. Dense fog advisory in effect through 9 o'clock Wednesday morning for much of Minnesota, all of northwestern Wisconsin, but not the UP yet. All right, what's the forecast then hold for the rest of the week? A fairly cloudy sky will be with us all the way through Friday, and then on Saturday the clouds could kick out a little bit of snow, just a 30% chance.
Thanks for joining us tonight.